The heart has over 40,000 neurons. And if you look at this excerpt from The Science of the Heart, that's the book that was published by HeartMath Institute. The heart-brain's neural circuitry enables it to act independently of the cranial brain to learn, remember, make decisions, and even feel and sense. Now, what does this all mean? Essentially, it means that your heart has its own brain. Brain doesn't control your heart. As a matter of fact, science has shown that the heart actually sends more information to the brain than the other way around. So really, your heart is acting independently. Now, how do you apply that to your everyday, this information, how do you apply it to your everyday life? Well, have you ever been in a situation where you know you want to do something, but your brain comes in and says, well, hang on a second, remember what happened when you did this the last time? You got your heart broken, or you were cheated, or something magical happened, so let's go do it. So either way, your heart, your instant response to something, which is an inspirational response, is what your heart is telling you to do. And then when the brain becomes engaged, the brain can either talk you into it and say, hey, fully go right into this. This makes a lot of sense, or pulls you away from it and talks you out of it. But sometimes you'll come to a struggle between the heart and the mind. And when you come to that struggle, it means that your heart and your mind are having that conversation. And this is actually a biological conversation. There's an actual flow of information that goes back and forth and release of hormones that actually happen in your body. There are two major hormones that get released in your body. One is a stress hormone, and one is a more anti-aging, rejuvenating hormone. The technique that we just practiced, which is heart-focused breathing, where we take deep breaths in and out of our hearts, what that does is it engages our heart and sets up the heart's magnetic field, which you can actually measure in science, and allows it to send the information up to your brain and say, okay, let's connect, where you can make a decision with your heart and your mind connected. What happens if somebody has a heart transplant and that has been done? When you have a heart transplant, according to HeartMath folks, the individual who receives the new heart begins to take on or exhibit some personality from the donor, and this has been shown in studies. So there's something new for you to hear. Is there a maximum amount of time a person should practice this breathing focusing technique? No, there is no maximum amount of time, Michelle. There is a minimum amount of time to make it effective. So the minimum amount of time and frequency is, I would say, 5 minutes each day. What I do is when I wake up in the morning, and sometimes, well, all the time, I will hit a snooze button on my phone. My alarm's on my phone. When I hit a snooze button, what I do is I start doing the quick coherence technique. While I'm laying in bed, while I'm half asleep, I just start taking these deep breaths in through my heart and exiting out of my heart. Interestingly enough, I mean, uh, all of us have to breathe sometime, and all of us feel emotions all the time. So why not be purposeful about choosing the emotions that we feel, or breathing in the way that we have shown today, is doing the quick coherence technique. So you can do this breathing focusing technique all day. And there are people who do it for hours because they've been practicing this for 20 years, folks at HeartMath. So, what I usually do is whenever I'm in the shower, I'm doing nothing else. I can't access my phone, nothing. I'm just alone by myself. And when I'm in the shower, I do this heart focused breathing technique as I'm doing work. And the interesting thing about this technique is it's not a meditative technique necessarily. You can make it a meditative technique, of course. You can close your eyes and do this, but this is an active alert type of technique. The U.S. Army used this, like the Navy SEALs actually are trained in heart math techniques, and because what they need to do is they need to have situational awareness. So if you're walking into a meeting, if you're in a workplace setting, and you walk into a meeting, as you're walking to that meeting, begin this process. While you're walking, you can keep your eyes open, start experiencing positive feeling, and walk into this meeting and you will see you will have a lot of time in between questions. When people are firing questions at you and you slow your heart down, you will have a lot more time to think about the answers, and you'll have full access to the intelligence of your body to be able to access that. All of this stuff that I'm telling you right now has been proven in science and in evidence-based studies. So I hope that's answered the question. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. Let's do this again next week. Take care.